Good. All right, we got defense coordinator Ted Roof here. Feel free to go ahead and start with your questions.
All right, Coach. I'm Brandon Howick. I cover UCF for Rivals.com. Welcome to UCF. Just kind of talk us through this decision you made. Obviously, you've got a prior relationship with Coach Malzahn from your Auburn days, and just talk about your decision to come here and coordinate the UCF defense.
Well, I'm very fortunate to be here, to be in a program like this that's on the rise with a guy that I've worked with before and have a lot of respect for, and also admiration. And we were a pretty good team when we were together, and it's good to be back with him.
Coach, you talked a little bit. I mean, you come in here and you know right off the bat that the big focus is stopping the run. That's something UCF struggled with. What is your philosophy when it comes to that? How do you see a defense being able to stop a run when you're looking at that?
If you can't stop the run, you can't win. It's as simple as that. And there's going to be times when everybody knows they're going to run it, and you've got to stop it to win. And if a team can run the football against you, that demoralizes your whole football team. So it's something that we place but that hadn't changed since football was invented. That's not like that's a new theory. I mean, you got to stop the run to win. And obviously, people get more one-dimensional, and if you make them more one-dimensional, they become more predictable, which puts us in advantageous positions to put our playmakers in good positions. So, that's something that every defensive coordinator in America that's at a press conference right now is talking about stopping the run and being aggressive and attacking. But so much of that is a mindset too, and to establish the right mindset that we're going to attack and we're going to be aggressive, and we know we've got to do that to win football games, and we'll commit as many defenders as it takes to do that. Because now with the evolution of the quarterback run game, it makes people play 11 on 11.
Coach, you got to see UCF last year at your last stop. What did you think about them then, and how did that help you come here?
I thought that they were on the verge of being a really good football team last year. We had to stop a two-point play to win. So I say we, now they're they. We're we here. But had to stop a two-point play to win, and saw it was a very group of talented players that I knew had a good coaching staff, and like I said, I think it's ready to explode and take off. But we can't just say that. We got to make it do that, and that takes work. That takes commitment. That takes like I talk about with the players, a daily sense of incremental improvement. You don't just go from here to here. There's a bunch of little steps that you've got to take, and then all of a sudden you look back and look where we came from. So just getting better every day. And I know that sounds really coaching cliches, but that's life, and that's how it goes. And if you want to be successful, that's the recipe for success.
So it is through practice. Any new guys standing out? Any leaders that you're catching your eye?
Well, I see that there's some guys that are providing leadership. And the good teams that I've been around, the championship teams, those teams have been player-led. It's not been coach-led. And so trying to develop that and push that. But, up front you got guys like Lee Hunter and Ricky Barber and the linebacking core. Some of our transfers, our grad transfers are doing a good job there. And then the secondary, there's some experience back there. So, got a guy like Kai Martin back there doing a good job. Had a pick 6 today.
Yeah, what do you want to see out of this linebacker group in the springtime, between the holdovers and obviously the additions in the transfer portal as well? Yeah,
I want to see them learn the defense, command the defense, have a command of the defense with the rest of the players, and be able to execute when they're tired, when it's hot, when it's play 97. It doesn't matter, because the core of everybody's defense is the linebackers, because they're tied to everything. They're tied to the front, they're tied to the stunts, they're tied to the blitzes, they're tied to the coverage. So for them to be able to learn it and to command it and execute it at a high level on a daily basis.
What is it about Gus? Gus has a history of, obviously the staff is full of coaches that he's worked with, people that he's maybe met along his coaching career. What is it about Gus that he gets he brings guys in, familiarity, brings guys that he's able to maybe kind of put around him that have success?
Well, I think that in this business, it's not just one person. you know, it's so much about everybody and people that, you know, that you trust, because there's so many coaches out there, you know, supply and demand. There's a million coaches that would love to coach here at University of Central Florida, but, you know, guys that have a relationship where he's seen something that he liked and he believes in, that he brings on board. And, you know, like I said, I'm blessed to be a part of it.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about your philosophy? You said being aggressive, willing to commit however many defenders to stop the run, but how do you balance that with not being, I guess, overly aggressive when you kind of leave those guys in the back end kind of out to dry?
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. It is a blend, and you know, so much of it too is about the pre-snap picture, because if you give your intentions away, you know, you're going to get sliced up, because now it's not like the quarterback's making the checks, it's the coach in the press box that's making them going down to the sideline. So they're seeing what they're seeing what the defenses are doing, and then checking the play accordingly. So to be able to disguise our intentions, but at the same time, scheme's important, but it's not about scheme. It's about players being confident and knowing what to do, and then doing it full speed and doing it with reckless abandon. And that's what wins football games. Not schemes. It's techniques and fundamentals, and players that execute at a high level, straining to do their job the best that they can, and that's all we ask. Yes. But we demand every ounce of it.
Obviously, UCF struggled against the run last season. But are there any other goals that you want to make with this defense? I mean, anything that wants to set you guys apart from the rest?
There's certainly, yeah. I mean, we got goals in every aspect of our game. You know, we got takeaway goals, we've got points per possession goals, we've got red zone goals. You know, every fake, because all those things, you know, they put this big thing together called winning and losing, and you know, to have goals in each area, because you've got to give our players, like, okay, what's our standard, and then hold them to the standard. You know, so that way they got to, like, you got to understand what the standard and what the expectation level is, you know, to achieve that. So you're working to do that on a consistent basis, and that's what wins for you. You know, so we have goals in every area and standards, and that's how we do it.
Individually, how do you feel like you fit in with the defensive staff, considering that there's a few holdovers and Addison was in this position last year?
Well, you'll have to ask them that. But I feel good. I feel it's been a seamless transition. I've been very impressed with them, and they're good. They're good men and good coaches, good teachers, and you know, like I said, it's a great group, and I'm excited about being a part of it.
Can you feel the presence of these incoming transfers? A lot of these guys have played 4 or 5 years at other schools. You know, Ethan Barr was a guy I know you coached a few years ago. Guys like Ladarius Tennyson, Deshaun Pace. Are you noticing what they bring to the table, being experienced players?
Yes, because here's what you see. Because you've got guys that are at that level of their career, that point in their career. Then you guys have got guys that just graduated from high school. Okay, and what we're trying to, because the guys that just graduated from high school, they don't know what they don't know, okay? The guys that have been doing this a long time at a high level, they know what they don't know, so we're trying to get those guys to hitch their wagons on how to do it to the older guys to help accentuate and facilitate that process speeding up, you know, because we want everybody leaving here this spring or this summer where, you know, having a good understanding, be able to execute and feeling like, you know, they've got a chance. And part of it is learning what to do, but you know, like I said, guys that have been, you're different at 23 years old than you are at 17 or 18. That's just how God makes you, and you know, that's just how it is. So, but to give them good role models and good examples of that's what it's supposed to look like. Go do that. Whenever he's doing that, you do that with him. You know, and at the same time, college football is harder than it ever has been at building a team right now because of the transfer portal. Okay, and part of it is the guys that come in with the right attitude, an attitude of humility, that they've got to earn the respect of their teammates. And at the same time, it's guys that are already here saying, you know, if that guy's here for the right reasons and he's trying to help us to make us better, there's got to be a certain amount of welcoming there too. So it's a combination of all that. But building this thing called team is harder than it's ever been because, like I said, of the comings and goings.
Along those lines, you get a guy like Deshaun Pace, who's got a lot of versatility, who can play linebacker, play safety, do a little bit of everything. How important is that to see some versatility in some of those guys to be able to maybe mix and match and move guys around?
Oh yeah, it's certainly critical, you know, because our job as coaches is to get the best group on the field. And right now, I don't know what that group is. And we've got a lot of spring practice to go. You know, we hadn't even been in pads yet. So to be able to watch guys hit guys, you know, because tackling is still the #1 fundamental in football. Regardless of how everybody else tries to, it's about tackling the guy with the ball. And, you know, I want to see that before I make statements on this, that, and the other. I want to see that because we're going to get our guys that tackle the guy with the ball on the field. So I'm not trying to oversimplify, but that's what it is.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Sure.
Thanks.
Defensive tackle,